In April 2002, in the northern Argentine province of Tucumán, a 23-year-old woman named Maria de Los Angeles Marita Verón walked out of her home to attend a doctor's appointment and never came back. What followed was not just the disappearance of a young woman, but the beginning of one of the most extraordinary civilian crusades against human trafficking in modern history. At the center of it stood her mother, Susana Trimarco, a woman who would transform unbearable loss into relentless action, and personal grief into a nationwide reckoning with organized sexual exploitation. Marita was not a runaway. She was not involved in drugs, crime, or risky behavior. She was a university student, a mother of a young daughter, and closely connected to her family. On April 3rd, she left home that morning carrying medical test results, expecting to return within hours. When she didn't, her mother immediately sensed something was terribly wrong. This intuition would prove devastatingly accurate. Marita had been abducted in broad daylight and forced into a network of sex trafficking that stretched across multiple Argentine provinces. At the time, Argentina officially acknowledged human trafficking as a problem only in abstract terms. The public narrative often blamed victims or treated disappearances as isolated incidents. Police response to Marita's disappearance was slow, dismissive, and riddled with indifference. Officers suggested she might have left voluntarily. Some implied she had chosen sex work. Others advised Susana to wait. She refused. What Susana Trimarco encountered in those early days was not just institutional failure, but systemic corruption. As she began asking questions in bars, bus terminals, and brothels, she discovered an underground economy fueled by silence, fear, and official complicity. Women were being kidnapped, transported, drugged, beaten, and sold repeatedly, while traffickers paid bribes to operate openly. The machinery was vast, normalized, and protected. Instead of retreating into mourning, Susana did something few could imagine. She decided to infiltrate the very world that had swallowed her daughter. Disguising herself as a buyer, as a cleaner, as a desperate woman looking for work, she entered brothels across northern Argentina. Inside, she saw horrors that reshaped her understanding of cruelty. Young women locked in rooms, denied medical care, punished for resisting, and stripped of identity. Many have been missing for years. Some no longer remember their real names. Susana asked one question everywhere she went. Had anyone seen Marita? She carried photos. She listened carefully. Sometimes women whispered answers when guards weren't listening. Sometimes they were too afraid to speak. Over time, fragments emerged. Marita had been seen in La Rioja, then Córdoba, then Buenos Aires. Each lead opened a new door into a darker corridor. The deeper Susana went, the clearer it became that this was not just about one missing woman. This was a machine that devoured girls by the thousands. Teenagers abducted from poor neighborhoods. Migrants deceived with fake job offers. Mothers separated from children, their suffering invisible by design. Susana began documenting everything. Names, addresses, license plates, phone numbers, patterns of movement. She worked without police protection, often under threat. Traffickers warned her to stop. She received death threats. At one point, her home was set on fire. She continued anyway. In brothels, she sometimes recognized girls who looked like Marita, only to realize they were even younger. She saw fear in their eyes that mirrored her daughter's last moments. In one rescue operation, a girl clung to her and cried uncontrollably, saying she thought no one would ever come. Susana later said that in moments like that, she felt her daughter's presence most intensely. "Every woman I help," she would later say, "in some way, helps my daughter." What made Susana's mission unprecedented was not just her persistence, but her results. Over the years, she directly assisted in the rescue of hundreds of women and girls from sexual exploitation. Her evidence led to the arrest of traffickers, pimps, recruiters, and corrupt officials. Entire trafficking rings collapsed because of information she gathered alone. In 2008, Argentina passed its first comprehensive anti-human trafficking law. Susana's case was a driving force behind it. Lawmakers could no longer deny what she had exposed. The law criminalized trafficking and exploitation, established victim assistance programs, and recognized consent as irrelevant when coercion was involved. It was a landmark shift, though enforcement remained uneven. Despite legislative progress, justice for Marita remained elusive. Witnesses reported seeing her in multiple locations over the years, but every trail eventually went cold. Some testimonies suggested she had been murdered. Others claimed she was still alive, moved constantly to prevent escape. The uncertainty was a permanent wound. In 2012, 10 years after Marita's disappearance, a major trial began in Tucumán against 13 people accused of participating in her abduction and exploitation. The case relied heavily on survivor testimony Susana had helped uncover. The courtroom was packed. Argentina watched. The verdict shocked the nation. All 13 defendants were acquitted. The decision triggered mass protests. Thousands took to the streets, outraged by what they saw as judicial complicity. Susana stood before cameras, visibly shaken but defiant. She accused the court of protecting traffickers. Her words echoed far beyond Tucumán. International human rights organizations condemned the ruling. Public pressure forced a re-examination. In 2013, an appellate court overturned the acquittals. 10 of the accused were convicted and sentenced to long prison terms. It was a partial victory, but for Susana, it was not closure. Marita was still missing. Through it all, Susana refused to frame her work as heroism. She described it as survival. Grief, she said, could either destroy her or move her. She chose movement. Each rescue was both a blow against traffickers and a prayer for her daughter. The psychological toll was immense. Susana suffered exhaustion, paranoia, and periods of despair. She lived under constant threat. Yet she continued traveling, testifying, advising lawmakers, and supporting survivors. She founded the Maria de Los Angeles Foundation to provide legal, psychological, and medical assistance to trafficking victims. The foundation became a lifeline for countless families. What made Susana's story resonate globally was its raw humanity. She was not a detective, a politician, or a trained activist. She was a mother whose love refused to accept silence. In confronting traffickers, she exposed not only criminal networks, but the social indifference that allowed them to flourish. Her work revealed uncomfortable truths, that trafficking thrives not just on violence, but on bureaucracy, on disbelief, on the assumption that some lives are disposable. Susana challenged that assumption every day. Years passed. Marita's daughter grew up without her mother. Susana raised her, carrying both love and unanswered questions. On anniversaries of Marita's disappearance, Susana continued to speak publicly, not to reopen wounds, but to keep them from being forgotten. She never claimed certainty about Marita's fate. Hope, she said, was necessary even when painful. As long as I don't have her body, she once stated, I will keep looking. That hope fueled her when exhaustion threatened to end everything. By the time Susana stepped back from active field work, her impact was undeniable. Hundreds of women freed, thousands of traffickers exposed, dozens of criminal organizations dismantled, laws rewritten, a nation forced to see what it had ignored. And yet, her revolution was deeply personal. It began with one daughter. It continued with every girl who walked out of captivity and breathed free air for the first time. In those moments, Susana said she felt that somewhere, somehow, she was reaching Marita. She never found her daughter, but she transformed Argentina's understanding of human trafficking. She turned private grief into public justice. She proved that a single person, armed with love and refusal, could shake systems built on cruelty. Her words continue to echo in every rescue, in every survivor who rebuilds a life stolen from her. Every woman I help in some way helps my daughter. Susana Trimarco did not set out to become a symbol. She became one because she refused to stop walking forward into darkness, carrying the memory of a girl who never came home and lighting a path for thousands who did.